All right, Shane.
All right, Ian.
Post-op.
End of trip.
End of trip.
Cheers.
Chin chin. Well done, sir.
Mm-hmm.
That was not fun, except for the whole time.
Well, it was fun, but it was a lot of work for sure. But we knew that going in.
That we did. We didn't experience anything. I don't think that was unplanned.
No, definitely not.
Which you can't say about every trip.
So we're in the bug shelter tonight just because it's really, really windy outside, and you wouldn't be able to hear a thing if we weren't.
It'd be all wind noise, but in here, wind is no matter. Despite the speed holes that are in my new tarp, and I don't really like.
Yeah.
But bug shelter worked good in the rain.
Yeah, that first night on Big Trout.
Yeah, that was the
definitely held
only bad weather we've had. Other than that, the weather's been great.
Yeah, no, the weather's been really good for sure. I mean, we've lucked out. We've been babied with this weather. I mean, You don't get weather this good, ever.
And the bugs haven't been bad on the sites we've been on.
Most of the sites have been good. The portages have been miserable. Like, I mean, worst I've ever seen, for sure, of any year we've come out.
It was pretty unbearable if you didn't have the proper gear.
I think setting out, I guess, which brings us to a perfect point, you definitely don't want to go out in June without bug gear. There's no doubt.
Not anymore. I mean, maybe once upon a dream, but anytime in June, get bug gear because it's going to be bad.
Then I guess maybe talk about the stuff that worked for you. What worked? What worked good?
Everything worked well. My new cameras worked very well. It's maintained battery. New tarp was relatively waterproof and relatively bug resistant. I'm definitely going to use this in the future. Everything packed down well. The tent stayed dry during rain. All the canoe equipment worked well. All the kitchen equipment worked well. I've got no complaints about any of my gear. I don't think there's one piece of gear that I brought that I didn't do a bunch of stuff with, and I don't think there was a piece of gear that I brought that I didn't use.
Was there any new gear you had that you were trying out for the first time, that, aside from the bug shelter, which you've talked about?
Aside from a couple menu things, there was no new equipment that I can recall off the top of my head. Essential equipment was the bug jacket that I borrowed from you. If I hadn't borrowed it from you, I would have bought a new one. And that was absolutely mission critical. And I know that you have two pieces of clothing, the pants and the shirt, that definitely helped with the bugs at the worst of it. You love your new chair.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll go through a few of the things that I've had new, that just how they've played out. Obviously, I had new pants, and I haven't got it on right now, but I had a long sleeve shirt. They're from Wind River, and it's called the No Fly Zone, and fantastic. I got it on sale at Marksworth Warehouse for 50% off. Not intentionally, just happened to luck out. And they cannot bite through it. I was wearing black work gloves. Mosquitoes were biting through the neoprene, and this stuff they will not go through. The other big thing, the breeze, I was never sweating. The wind just blows through you. You're always being dried off. I know Ian was struggling with that a lot of the time.
Absolutely infuriating how little it looked like you sweat.
And if I put on a regular cotton shirt like this, I'd be sweating almost instantly. So that was worth it. Cheap pair of hiking boots from Walmart. They were Dr. Scholl's, but they've done okay. Could have had a little bit more breathability. They were really hot, but for $35, I expected to destroy them on this trip. They're holding up okay, and they were, I think they're waterproof too, so.
Yeah, I actually got a set of Merrill boots that I realize now are brand new. But brand new to me, I bought them at Value Village because I knew which boots are good, and those boots are amazing. The best boots I've owned since a pair of North Face ones I got when I was 16. Totally waterproof up to the heel. As soon as water pours over them, But comfortable, breathable, dry fairly well. That's what they're doing right now. Yeah. Other than that, food went fairly well. All the rehydrated stuff came back good. All the freeze-dried stuff worked well. We had some issues with desserts not sitting well. But
yeah, but that's just the person who was here more than anything. That's just my stomach.
well, we ate one each, and we were like, eh. We brought too much food. That's the long and the short of it, which is good because I've got a tragic habit of leaving food behind. But yeah, Whisper Light stove cooked everything perfectly. All the kitchenwares worked well.
One new addition that worked well was the weather radio.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've got just a cheap one off Amazon. A lot of guys have this one. I've seen it's the Scorpion 2. And radio stations were hit or miss. We got the weather radio at most lakes aside from Big Crow.
Hogan. Oh, we got it at Hogan. Big
I think
Crow and La Vieille.
Big Crow and Lavier were the only places we couldn't pick up the official VHF Algonquin radio, so we did really well there. At Lavier, we were able to get a North Bay radio station, so we got some weather updates. But if you're going to come out for this length of time, I've never done it without that. We've done a lot of short trips without the radio, but
having a weather radio is handy.
Knowing what was coming with certainty was key. Like, we never missed a scheduled date. We never got wind locked.
That's a thing.
We were on schedule the whole time.
We had
planned.
we had a huge amount of luck with weather.
Yeah, I mean, the weather really did play in our favor. There's no doubt. I mean, you just don't get a stretch, especially this year. It's been all rain this year, and we lucked out, for sure.
Yeah, I've been thinking of it. If we had had bad luck on one day, we would be behind schedule.
Yep.
This was an ambitious trip, and we lucked out. Everything that could have gone easy went easy. Everything that would have been hard was hard. But we did it in the allotted amount of time.
So what was your coolest feature of the trip, or what was the neatest thing that went on for you?
There was a lot of stuff. I enjoyed catching trout from the shores of Lavier in July. I enjoyed meeting those two guys who I hope by
cool.
now have broken the record of meanest length. They were trying to do it in 8 days because they are absolute mad lads.
We don't know right now, but maybe when Ian edits this, he'll put in if they won or
They
not.
won. You can
Right
see the
below,
link here.
down there.
I don't know,
Yeah,
or maybe
somewhere
up there.
up there.
Or around here. I don't know. Again, I was worried about some of the food not coming back or not agreeing with people, but no, that worked well.
By people, he means me.
Well, even myself, if it
Yeah.
spoiled or something.
Yeah,
I worried that my beard would be too itchy. But
it was.
My beard's a little itchy. I've just been picking at it.
That's a major regret. I should have brought a razor because after about day 6, it's bad. It's bad. This guy complained about it nonstop, and in fact, you'll see it in every video. He's kind of
seeing a good variety of wildlife.
We saw some wildlife.
Saw some
some
mooses,
really good-
some turtles.
The moose at Crow Bay was one of probably the coolest experiences I've had in the bush. He stayed all night long, was there the next morning even when we got up. He just kind of hunkered down in the mud for a while in the night.
Slept within 150 meters of moose.
Woke up in the middle of the night, could hear him out there eating. It was pretty cool.
Doing his good business. And now we're on Opiongo, a lake that I have never explored before.
It's been interesting. We've been watching boats go by and little touches of civilization, so I guess we're kind of working our way back into it.
Yeah, it's a different experience for sure. How about you, Shane? What was a major highlight of the trip that you didn't see coming?
That I didn't see coming? It's hard to say. Like, I mean, I think we'll probably have a lot of similarities in that. I mean,
The moose for sure was...
the moose was pretty cool. One little weird thing that I thought was really cool was I was watching in the top end of Lake Lavielle a couple of bass spawn, which I've been around spawning beds of bass my whole life, but I've never actually seen 2 bass spawning, and it was neat watching the male as he was chasing the trout out while they were trying to come in and grab his eggs. Now, unfortunately, there shouldn't be bass in Lavielle, and one of the guys we met that was doing the meanest link, he was
upset.
He seemed like he had a pretty good knowledge of the park, or he worked in the park. And he was pretty upset about it when I told him. So let's hope that's not a sign of things to come. But it was still kind of a really neat piece of nature to see, even though it was something small. So
Yep. I was surprised there weren't more people that we saw. We only saw...
yeah, I guess we
Couple
saw a
people.
few groups in big trout, but that's to be expected. It was Canada Day, long weekend. one group came by in Hogan, one boat.
Yep, and they didn't stop. We just sort of waved at each other.
Yeah. Big Crow was pretty busy. All the sites in Big Crow were full.
No, there was 4 people.
Well, all the sites in our general vicinity were full,
yeah,
which was
there were,
odd.
there were 4 people, including us.
How about running the Crow River? Did you like that?
Crow River was neat.
Current was nice.
Current was nice. I'm surprised how fast we made it through there, which was pleasant. It was fun. We should do more river running like that.
Because the Big Crow run was so easy, we were able to spend basically another 4 hours afterwards searching all the sites on Laval until we found the site that we liked the most. And as I'm sure you saw, it was a pretty nice looking site.
Yep. Compared to everyone we saw, that was the crowning one. But yeah, I would say it was a good trip.
So in conclusion, would you do it again? Would you do another 8-day?
I would do another 8-day. I would not do this amount of travel in it.
Maybe an extra rest day?
Yeah.
I can agree with that. I think maybe two with an extra travel day in there somewhere would be...
It was strenuous, but it was rewarding. At the end of this week, I'm very glad we did it.
Okay.
Well done, Shane.
Would you recommend it for kind of people like doing what we've been doing for years, where you go out, you destination camp, and you're kind of thinking about doing that? Would you recommend that loop specifically, or any tips?
Yeah, no, I would 100% recommend a loop similar to this. If you can avoid the Hogan to Big Crow portage, I would. Other than that, every other portage is just a dawdle.
Well, I guess there's nothing left to do now but wait for the boat, have a couple of beverages, enjoy the feeling of accomplishment.
And then back to the big smoke tomorrow for me.
Back to the big smoke for you.
I gotta go to a wedding. But I'm gonna have ice cream.
I might have ice cream too.
And a burger.
But no wedding. No open bar.
No.
No 3-course meal.
Oh my god. It's gonna be so good. Fresh meat. It's gonna be so good. Sure hope that any of that is usable.